It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Hi, and welcome to Press Pass on Fox 47. Tom Crawford moderating in for it. Jack Ebling, who's at the Cap One Center in Washington, D.C. for that tremendous victory for a berth in the Final Four. Congratulations to the Michigan State Spartans. Ooh, that hurts me to say that, but hey, got to give kudos. We got an illustrious panel here. Jack's going to do segment 2 along with Rico Beard. Thank God Rico is not here. But to my right, a Spartan dog who is so proud as a former linebacker for Michigan State. Obviously knows a lot of the players, knows what it takes to win championships. Darian Harris, how proud are you about that Spartan team today? A berth in Minneapolis. You've been many year to year when you walk in.
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud of this team. You know, I remember 2015 of us, you know, as Spartan players, as Spartan Brotherhood, as football players, baseball, basketball, field hockey, women's basketball, everybody piling in the cars and driving to Indianapolis at the time for that Final Four. So we get to do it all over again. I mean, there's no way you can miss this. But I'm incredibly proud of this team. Cassius Winston and what he was able to do. Kenny Goins hitting that tremendous shot at the end. Coach Izzo and what he went through to start this tournament off, and then being able to be able to draw up a play for somebody like Kenny Goins at the end who would struggle a little bit. I mean, that just shows a testament to this team. I'm kind of speechless. I mean, I don't know what to say, man.
Barry is typically not speechless, but we'll warm him up over the next hour. Lindsey Huddleston to my immediate left, a real basketball guru from Sports Psychology Solutions. You watch basketball. You're probably blurry-eyed all weekend because you're a basketball guy. What'd you think today?
Oh, I thought it was great. This cap today going to the Final Four was a sign of redemption for Coach Izzo. Not that he needed much of it, but you look at what happened last season, and to take a mass unit, if you will, into the Final Four. I mean, this lineup he wasn't expecting these guys, these freshmen and others to contribute, but it was great. And like Darian said, seeing Kenny hit a big shot and Cassius running the fastest he probably ever ran to kind of run that clock out was great to see.
And then to my far left, my colleague from the Spotlight Radio Network, Doug Warren. Lions today. We're not talking Lions today. We're talking Spartans. I'm sure you're not going to have any problem with that. And you watch basketball all weekend as well. Is your brackets all ripped up now?
I got one left because I had Gonzaga and Duke in my other brackets, but I have Michigan State in one, and so I'm still alive in one, Tom. I had 7 total. So
you're doing a heck of a lot better than me. I had Michigan cutting down the net. So I went homer. Yeah. You know, I kind of do that once in a while.
They were a top 10 team. That was a good pick.
But man, I'm telling you what a great win for Michigan State today. I mean, that was gutty, heart-wrenching, and just the emotion that came out of it. You saw that Spartan crowd. Man, we're going to talk about it. In fact, Jack Ebling is going to talk about it along with Rico Beard from Washington, D.C. Stay with us on Press Pass. More to talk about. NCAA. It's all about March Madness right here on Fox 47.
Hi, I'm Realtor Brock Fletcher from the selling team with Keller Williams. Mid-Michigan homeowners who sell their homes with us get an average of 98% of their asking price and sell their home in an average of 28 days. Call us today at 517-853-6408.
Welcome to Russell and Schrader Insurance.
Hastings Mutual is a trusted partner of ours. Call Joe Daly for a Hastings Mutual insurance quote. They are hard to beat. Call Dylan Bond today. From business to farms, Hastings Mutual and Russell and Schrader Insurance will protect your best assets.
It's rare for a window company to celebrate 75 years.
And it's absolutely unheard of to offer 75 months, no interest. Wallside is doing both. This is an exclusive, never-before offer, and it may never run again. 75 months, no interest. Every window is half off. Now you can afford to do the entire house. 75 months, no interest, for a very limited time. Only at Wallside. 1-800-521-7800.
Rule number 1 if you want to stay alive. Don't lie to your doctor.
Profits over patience, again. You save your morality lesson.
You have to save him!
Be careful.
You tried to kill him!
I had no choice!
Shelby.
The Resident, all new Mondays at 8 on Fox.
Download the Fox 47 Storm Shield app and stay in touch everywhere you go.
It's the Kraft Saving in the Green Sale, the time of year to save a pot of gold. Release the leprechauns.
The savings at Kraft are crazy. Yeah! Kraft's minimum trade is back. Get more gold for your trade.
Get a 2019 Silverado Double Cab 4-wheel drive just $242 a month. Or drive a new Chevrolet Trax for only $96 a month.
It's the Graf Saving on the Green sale going on now at a Graf dealership near you. You'll save so much money, you'll feel like dancing like a leprechaun too.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment brought to you by Graf Chevrolet. A trusted friend, 105 years in the automobile business. Stop and see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River and Okemos. They'll take great care of you as they have on all 5 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graf. Jack Ebling here at Capital One Arena with Rico Beard.
I bet you Tom thought he was going to get rid of me tonight. I'm here, Tom. Ha!
They can't get rid of Michigan State either, Rico.
No, they
can't.
can't.
The Blue Devils thought they had done that. Michigan State rallying for a 68-67 win. One of the biggest tournament wins Michigan State has had in its history, and certainly the biggest shot of Kenny Goins' life.
Yeah, it was. I don't think I've been this nervous since maybe the overtime game in 2005 with Kentucky, but this was nerve-wracking. Neither team took a commanding lead, back and forth over, 13, 14 ties, lead changes.
Duke had that 12-0 run. Michigan State answered with a 13-0 run to take the 4-point halftime lead, and then the second half back and forth. Just when you thought one team was going to take command, the other one flipped the script.
Right, and then it all came down to, the play was drawn up. Not necessarily for Kenny from what I heard. Yeah. Cassius was supposed to drive the lane, but they crashed down on him. He saw Kenny, and Kenny said there was no hesitation. Yeah. He didn't think about any of the past misses that he's had over the last few weeks. He said it left his hand. He knew immediately it was going in, and it did.
One of the coaches said that Kenny didn't do what he was supposed to do on that play either, but they're not giving it back. And when you think that Michigan State went into this game, Rico, and had 3 primary goals. The first one was they were going to get to the foul line early and often. That didn't work. They missed the free throws that they did get, and didn't get many.
Yeah, Cassius and McQuaid missing early free throws. That was the head scratcher right there. I circled that and said, if they lose by 1, they're going to remember this.
Second one was they said that they were going to out-rebound Duke. That didn't work. They were out-rebounded 42-21. The third one worked. They said, we are not going to turn the ball over. We're not going to watch a dunk drill at the other end. Michigan State just 7 turnovers. The Blue Devils, 17.
17. That is not a Coach K like Duke. That's not a Duke team. Normally Duke is the one forcing it, but yeah, they took care of the ball. They valued every possession. And the other thing that I like about it, they weren't in awe of Zion. Because when you watch him play, it's easy to be like, oh my goodness, look at the dunk. But you know what? How much Zion's dunk, you know how many points they're worth? That's it. So,
and Zion had 24 points and 14 rebounds. He did his part.
Right.
But Cassius Winston, 20 points, 10 rebounds. I think back to in Chicago when it was announced that Michigan State had to play Duke, and everyone was sour about that. And why do they have to play Duke? I didn't want Duke to lose to UCF. I did not want Duke to lose to Virginia Tech. Michigan State had to slay the beast, and that's what it did tonight.
And I think, yeah, you're right. And now looking at it, because we can look ahead because we're not coaches. Quite frankly, this may be Tom's best chance at that second ring. Because a lot of teams are gone. You got Texas Tech, you got Auburn, who likes to chuck a lot of threes. You got Virginia, who it's the converse of Coach K. He kind of owns Tony Bennett in Virginia. I think that whoever won this game, in the back of their mind, knew they were the front runner for the national champion. And I think Vegas and everybody's going to say, and for Tom, this is it. He wants that second ring. Jack, you know him better than anybody else. This is his time. I mean,
they cannot take Texas Tech for granted. Trust me. That team demolished Michigan, dispatched #1 seed Gonzaga.
That's easy to do. Sorry,
and
Tom.
Also, now Michigan State, if they get through that game in 6 nights, then they would meet the winner of Virginia and Auburn. Virginia was my choice to win the championship anyway.
Yeah, mine too.
You might have 2 teams that a year ago were on everyone's hit list,
being mocked and laughed at.
Absolutely, for losing to Maryland, Baltimore County, Michigan State for that embarrassing loss to Syracuse. All that is history now, and so is the 2-11. I think Tom Izzo would trade about 5 of those. He'd trade this one for 5 of those.
Yeah, he probably would, but I think deep down, he's very respectful. Yeah. You know he's dancing. You know in the locker room, he's just, probably let out some expletive, yeah, we did it, we went on, because you're right. You had to beat them. Everybody on Selection Sunday said, poor Michigan State, you're stuck in Duke's bracket. I like the fact they accepted the challenge. And because here's the thing, if you're going to win a national title, all roads go through Durham. Eventually, you're going to have to play Duke, so why not here? Why not on this stage? They got it done. Now they're off to Minneapolis, and you know what? Izzo has his 8th Final Four. They'll be raising another, at least, worst case scenario, another Final Four banner gets raised on Midnight Madness. But I think they got bigger aspirations, Jack.
And a great turnout here, Rico, by Michigan State fans and some celebs. Senator Debbie Stabenow was here. She said she's ready with some Final Four bets. And we saw Martine Cleaves, and they brought him up on the podium. Now, he's got to tell them how to finish the job. Right. And we saw Irvin Johnson, and Magic said, this is just like '79. Get through LSU, and then you play the team that everyone thinks is going to win it all. And I said, well, 1979, 2019, can we do this again in 2059? He said, we'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is their chance. I think they can get to that next level.
Back to you, Tom Crawford.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
The Student Bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoy giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Ride with Chicago PD, weekdays at noon on My 47.4.
Looking out for your business is important.
Hey, new equipment looks great.
And in this moment, you realize your independent auto owner's insurance agent is the right person to protect it.
Holden Divendale Insurance Agency, we are
your hometown team. Temperatures have hit an all-time low. We're in for a cold winter.
This May, escape to Paradise Hotel. Fox's sexiest dating competition returns.
Careful when you come through my way. My body already know how to play. But work it keep it tight every day. And I know you need a taste. Now, I feel a little ooh.
The temperatures are hot, and the sexy singles are even hotter. And we only have one rule: hook up or check out. Paradise Hotel, this May. On Fox.
Time now for the big picture, brought to you by Dean Trailways. With trips for every season, Dean takes care of the details so you can enjoy the experience, including daily casino runs and great getaways through northern Michigan and Chicago, where Doug Warren and Jack Ebling were in August for the NFL Legends Classic. That's Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Up ahead quickly.
Don't get back.
McQuaid. Oh, dunks it.
They were looking for McQuaid. This is not a good outside shooting team right now. It's got to penetrate.
Winston with his runner for 2 minutes of action.
This defense is just suffocating.
Winston's got these shots, though, hasn't finished them. Got that one, though. Tillman, top of the key, got the 3. Barrett has it stolen. 2 on 2. Winston gets the trailer. Tillman lays it in for the lead.
And those were first half highlights today for that big win. Michigan State over Duke and berth in the Final Four in Minneapolis. And Darian, when we think back to last year, Jaren Jackson, Miles Bridges, that was supposed to be the year, not this year. And then this year they come back and not the expectation is not as high. And then you have Josh Langford with the injuries, Kyle Arns, his injury. And then all of a sudden, they're going to the Final Four. I mean, of all the teams that you followed, even when you were a student athlete there, this is like at the top of the heap, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, it's got to be. And this is, again, it's a tremendous accomplishment, barring everything this team has gone through. I mean, you do. You look at last year, you look at a guy like Miles Bridges and Jaren Jackson, both lottery picks. And not just lottery picks, they're some of the best superstars you could possibly have on your team in terms of being selfless, wanting to do what's best for the team. Miles came back for another year. That some people didn't expect him to do that. So, you know, that team you thought last year was set up to be national champions. But when you have 2 superstars like that, you don't have the ball movement, you don't have the team cohesiveness on the court in terms of everybody understanding their role. You kind of pass to the stars and everybody gets out the way. This year, everything was balanced. You let Cash run the show. Yeah. You saw what Kenny Goins could do, Matt McQuaid could do, Xavier Tillman showing up in big moments and then having his coming out party this year. So this team was poised to do great things this year, and they've just battled adversity. They've been battle tested, and you got to give your hats off again to Coach Izzo. And apparently his coaching style does work.
It does work. And mentally tough, maybe as much as physically tough. And the Mateen Cleaves was physically tough. This is more mentally tough in my estimation. Tom Izzo, Lindsey Huddleston, what he went through last year, all that Nassar case, all that stuff, and then the injuries this year, some kind of challenging PR, the situation with Aaron Henry. Boy, that guy is unbelievable. He is truly a Hall of Fame coach. Is this his best coaching job that you followed, Tom Izzo?
I'll have to say it definitely is. You look at the year of redemption and all those things that happened. A lot of people would have packed it in last season, and here he is returning, and now he's in the Final Four. I mean, there's something to be said about that, especially with a very injured team. Like I said, the MASH unit carrying those guys through the door, and his plan worked, and you wish him the best success, and I think this has been his best coaching year short of a national championship.
Right, and besides a great year for Michigan State, a great year for the Big Ten, Doug Warren. Yeah. I mean, they had 8 teams in. 3 teams made the Sweet 16, 2 made the Elite 8, and 1 made the Final Four. Give your assessment of the Big Ten this year relative to the other conferences.
Well, yeah, I think right now I got to give the conference a B. Now, will they get an A? We'll have to see what happens next week. But B strong, maybe B plus. But this conference, again, come tournament time, the way that Big Ten traditionally, and it's been this way for decades, plays defense unlike any other conference in the country. They get into the tournament and they throw teams for a loop because they're not used to them playing possession defense or possession as you just do in the Big Ten, because all the coaches up here that's what they command.
Yeah, and these games are now in the 60s. Defense, hey, you're a defensive guy in football. I mean, defense that's the kind of the chic thing to do, have a team that can pound down. Michigan State, an underrated defense, and a lot of teams with good defense.
No, absolutely. And I think in college basketball, if you have a strong defensive team, it progresses yourself to wins more than maybe so in the NBA. Because in the NBA, everybody's at the top of their level. Everybody can shoot, essentially. Even the teams that you say can't shoot, they can still shoot. You know, if you think of Milwaukee Bucks, do they have enough outside shots? They're still, you know, light years better shooters than anybody in college. So that's essentially what Michigan State had to do today, was neutralize Duke's outside shooting. And they still were hitting shots there, maybe more than normal.
More than normal,
yeah, but they were able to kind of weather that storm. But you see teams like Texas Tech and that defense, it bodes well to be a great defensive team in college basketball.
Well, in contrast to Michigan State, we got to talk about my Michigan Wolverines. Boy, they went through a juggernaut with Texas Tech. Machete fight there. But we'll talk about Out of the Loop coming up next on Press Pass on Fox 47.
Legal grammar with Kelsey. Exculpatory evidence. Evidence such as a statement tending to excuse, justify, or absolve the alleged fault or guilt of a defendant.
Can you say definitively that William was in your store?
Absolutely. Mens rea determines the mental state of a defendant at the time a crime was committed. Differentiates between someone who did not mean to commit a crime versus someone who intentionally set out to commit a crime.
What was your state of mind, best you could tell?
Malfeasance. wrongdoing, or misconduct, especially by a public official.
I announce my candidacy for Attorney General to the great state of Illinois.
Acquittal, a jury verdict that a criminal defendant is not guilty, or the finding of a judge that the evidence is insufficient to support a conviction.
It's time for you to go home.
A change in the weather, May 1st on Fox 47 News.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's motor coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
It's the Graf Saving of the Green Sale, the time of year to save a pot of gold. Release the leprechauns.
The savings at Graf are crazy. Yeah! Graf's minimum trade is back. Get more gold for your trade.
Get a 2019 Silverado Double Cab 4-wheel drive, just $242 a month. Or drive away a new Equinox LT for only $179 a month.
It's the Graf Saving of the Green Sale going on now at a Graf dealership near you. You'll save so much money, you'll feel like dancing like a leprechaun too.
The Ticket Machine is your local connection to concert, theater, and sporting event tickets nationwide. Our entertainment experts are ready to help you create a memorable experience, trusted by fans for more than 20 years. Whether you're looking for tickets for your corporate outing, family excursion, or vacation, we offer the best seats and the best prices. Grab a front row seat now on theticketmachine.com.
That was really good today. They've been good all year. You know, it's not just their defense; they're a really talented team. They got so many veteran players. I mean, Mooney is terrific. He does such a great job, and he did a great job running those players. And the guys that came off the bench when we got Mooney and Moretti in foul trouble, they were very good too. The fourth year and the fifth year guys. So, and Owens was good.
They did a great job of. You know, reading our plays, and I feel like they had a great game plan coming into the game, but you know, we didn't execute what we had to execute, and we did a lot of things that, you know, normally on another day we wouldn't do, and a lot of shots that we didn't hit that we normally did. So I feel like that really changed the game.
Yeah, Iggy Brazdeikis not quite as vibrant as he is after those wins and 3 balls from the corner, but hey, a 30-7 record for Michigan. They were 17-0 one time. They were ranked second in the nation at one time. But Lindsey Huddleston, they tried to get a banner against Michigan State a couple times in Big Ten regular season play, failed on that. No Big Ten tournament banner. No banners, no championships, Sweet 16. How do you assess the 30-7 Michigan Wolverines?
Well, 30-7. I don't think the athletic director, Ward Emanuel, has to start reviewing coaching records. He's okay. You're talking about 2 back-to-back.
Safe.
You're right. He's fine. 2 back-to-back 30-win seasons. True indeed, they didn't beat their nemesis in state, but when you talk about they didn't have the 4 seniors that they had last season that took them to the Final Four, and in this tournament time, experience and emotion play huge roles, and they didn't have the experience. So I think coming back next year, don't worry, they still have Xavier Simpson, they still have Jordan Poole, and so don't you worry about your guys. They're going to be okay. And if Matthew stays and doesn't go to the NBA, you're even better off too.
I think he's moving on, but if they're still, if Poole and Brazdeikis return, I think they'll be just fine. Darian, I mean, you're such a basketball guru, NBA collegiate level, and you played high school basketball. I mean, when you look at Michigan offensively in those sets, I mean, they go 4- and 6-minute droughts. And you're like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, what do they have to do to fix that next year? Because they're a great defensive team.
Well, I'm looking for Xavier Simpson to take another step in terms of his offensive game. I mean, I know he's got the hook shot and he can do some things in the lane and stuff, and he's an outstanding point guard, especially on the defensive end. But if you look across the grand scheme of college basketball, everything starts with the point guard in college basketball. Obviously, Michigan State with Cassius Winston, Purdue with Carson Edwards. You look what Auburn was able to do today with their point guard. Even LSU's point guard Waters was phenomenal.
Who can both shoot and
defend as well. Gonzaga, if you think about Perkins and how great he is at the point guard position. But then you look at a team like Duke, who has great players in Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett, Cam Whittish, and Trey Jones is a fantastic player, and he's going to be a great player at the next level. But right now, lacking in offense, it's a little bit more difficult for teams to get into offensive sets if your point guard can shoot from the outside and do some things on the offensive end. So I agree. If Iggy comes back, Poole comes back, Teskey's probably a guarantee to come back. You know, you got the experience coming back, but I'm looking for Xavier Simpson to take another level on
absolutely.
offense.
Doug Warren, you're as bullish on John Beilein as anybody I know. You think he's great, and everybody does, and it should be. I mean, he's a terrific coach. But what does he have to do, perhaps recruiting-wise, when you look at that team, not having perimeter shooting? Maybe is that it? Just get another stroker from the outside, or what does he have to do to ramp up his talent?
Well, yeah, you got to have the outside shooting, especially when you have Xavier Simpson, who so far has not developed an outside shot. Now, if he shoots 1,500, 2,000 shots a day this summer and develops that outside shot to where he's competent and can be a threat going into next season, that could really transform Michigan's offense. But right now, they get to sag off him because he's not the threat that Trey Burke was, who could score from anywhere. So that's the weakness right now with Michigan. But if they have these guys come back, the defense will be there. Brzdakis, I think, is potentially, depending on how long he stays, could be a Big Ten Player of the Year candidate down the road. So, I mean, Michigan won 30 games. They're still a great program. They have the best coach in their history right now, and they'll be fine. And this rivalry right now between MSU and Michigan is going to continue, and it's one of the best two-sport rivalries in all of collegiate
without
sports.
question. Well, Darian, when you saw that Texas Tech team, who your team is going to play, hey, get ready. They're tough. I mean, they defend. I mean, it was almost. I mean, you could see in the first 3 turnovers. Within the first 4 minutes, Michigan was in a whole pack of trouble.
Yeah, they were, and I mean, it's something you hear about, and obviously us up here in Big Ten country, we're not hearing a lot about what's going on in Big 12 ball outside of Kansas. We're not used to it. You know, we're used to Kansas running away with it every year. All of a sudden, they don't win the regular season title for the first time in, 12, 13 years.
They won 30 games, as the graphic indicates.
Exactly. And then, Iowa State is able to come up and rise up as well. So now it's Iowa State and Texas Tech, and we're trying to learn these teams, and all of a sudden, Texas Tech's got some lottery pick on their team that
I know. I never heard of the guy.
Exactly.
I never heard of him.
I didn't hear about him either. And now you start watching him like, okay, yeah, this guy is a top 10 player for sure. And then you hear about the defense, and then you see it in action, like, okay, these guys can really defend. So I'm sure Izzo's going to be watching a lot of tape from that Michigan game to see how to, slice and dice this Texas Tech team. But they are for real. Their defense is for real. And I think it's going to be a barn burner next week.
Maybe we'll call Beilein and says, well, what do you have done different if you play Tech? I don't know if he's
give something up.
They'll have that kind of conversation or not, but Michigan State's just going to savor what they got right now. Okay, up next on Press Pass on Fox 47, tracking a trophy. Stay with us.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Think about the number of people your child crosses paths with over a course of a single school day. Their bus driver, librarians, cafeteria workers, and yes, their teachers. Ordinary people going above and beyond to help children. Each week, the Michigan Lottery selects an outstanding public school educator to receive the Excellence in Education Award.
Watch Fox 47 News at 6:30 on Tuesday to find out this week's winner.
Don't miss Daily Mail, weeknights at 6 on My 47.4.
Welcome to the show where it's not good enough to be good, because you have to be absolutely perfect. It's kind of addicting, because it's a game everybody can play, but very few people can win. Here's how it works. Each tower has 3 questions for a total of 12. Get them all right in 5 minutes. You move on to the Circle of Samurai and a chance to win $100,000.
It's the ultimate obstacle course for the mind.
Oh, I love this book. Handmaid's Tale. Lock it in. Bookworm. Lock it in.
Everyone, meet Ava. This arena is among the most expensive and technologically complex sets that's ever been designed for a competition series.
I'm talking to Rob Lowe.
And you're talking to me. I'm a multi-million-dollar piece of
You
equipment.
are. You really are.
And when people put it all together, it's unbelievable.
Winner advances to the Final Four in Minneapolis. And away we go. Mooney will spin, 7 to fire, inside, gets the 2. Got the screen, here's a 3, good! Oh, that was a big-time 3! You can feel a shift in the momentum in this one.
Absolutely you can.
Outside, Moretti, 3, good! He got another one! Outside, Hachimura rejected by Owens! That was sensational!
This is the play of the tournament.
That's it. There's a new member of the Final Four club. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech are going to the Final Four for the first time in program history.
And there you see the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Get your guns up, man. They're crazy out there in Lubbock. And to knock down the Zags as they did, that was unbelievable. Going into the Sweet 16, we were all going chalk on this thing. This is just predicted, you know, and then all of a sudden, now 3 number 1s are gone, so we got a 5, we got a 3, a 2, and a 1. Okay, so Darian Harris, I mean, the Texas Tech team, you and I were discussing this as far as what is ahead for Michigan State. You actually fear them more than you would a number 1 seed Virginia in the title game, right?
Yeah, I think so. I look at Texas Tech and what they were able to do to Michigan, and I know that there's similar styles of play between Michigan and Michigan State, just in terms of toughness, physicality, and be able to match that with teams. But this Texas Tech team is tough. They're able to defend on the perimeter. Culver's a great player. So I feel like if you get through that game, then you have a really good shot in the title game. But it's all one step at a time. It's one game at a time, as you know. But I'm looking forward to watching Izzo try to go up against Texas Tech, because it's an unknown. It's an unknown.
Yeah, quirky, I call that team. Lindsey, Virginia Cavaliers last year, we were all laughing at them. They lost to number 16, University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Right.
Okay, then they go from that to a berth in the Final Four. Sports psychology-wise here, give us your expertise. How does a team get from that to go from that level and all the depression and humiliation to this 1 year later?
Well, you probably focus on a goal. Clearly, Coach Bennett had the UVA community support. And going back to that experience point I made earlier, his dad in 2000 was a Final Four coach with Wisconsin. So you have someone close who can help you get through those tough times. His dad actually left because of mental exhaustion. So I guess you got someone who can talk about going down that dark road. And definitely a tale of redemption. You go from making history by getting knocked out by a 16 seed. But here you are back, and you know what? Winning solves everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. and they were behind against a 16 in their first game.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Gardner
here we go again.
By 12. I thought, here we go again.
Right.
Upset alert, but that didn't last long, and then they corrected and they righted the ship. Okay, Doug Warren, besides all the brackets you did the snake, we did the snake draft and all that. I mean, how are you doing? Are you ripping everything up, or what? What has surprised you about this tournament from what you thought it would be when you're filling out all those?
Well, what surprised me is that a couple things. Obviously, Texas Tech, it comes down to guard play all the time in the tournament, and Texas Tech has 3 tremendous guards that can score, that can defend, as Darian said. You know, you have Culver, Moretti, and Mooney. That's going to be the problem for Michigan State, because like it was when they played UConn, what was it, in 2015?
Yeah.
The guards came to play, and to this point, they have not been able to stop Cassius Winston. Nobody's really been able to slow him down. If they run into a team like Texas Tech who can find a way to slow him down and neutralize him, that could be the Achilles heel for Michigan State. Now, Cassius Winston's one of the top 5 players in MSU history. I think he solidified that with getting them to the Final Four. So this is going to be a test of just coaching, and I think at Michigan State if they can find a way to keep Cassius Winston in the groove, you know, they could have a chance to beat this team. But I agree with you, Darian. This is the toughest matchup for that they could have. If they get past this one, as long as they don't run out of gas, you know, they got.
And how do they go from that high? It's not like when you win the Big Ten championship in football, you got weeks to before you played in the Rose Bowl and stuff. Right now you got a couple days of just savoring the victory, and you got to get ready, hop on a plane, and go to Minneapolis. I mean, how does that work out for us?
No, for sure. I mean, that's the sports psychology of it right there. I mean, you're thinking about it. I agree. You go from the cutting down the nets literally with Duke. You beat
finally
Duke.
Slayed the giant.
You slay the giant. You get over the hump. You beat Duke. You're cutting down nets, and then in a week, you have to get ready to play and do it all over again. So you can't just be happy with getting to the top of the mountain, you know, which is the Final Four. You got to really conquer that mountain there. And I agree with what Doug said. I mean, Trey Jones, for what we've heard all year, he's the best on-ball defender in the nation. Yeah. And Cassius was getting by him. He was doing.
That's the biggest surprise of the entire game.
I'm watching the game and I'm like, it's not blowing smoke. I've watched Trey Jones play.
Why are people talking about him in the NBA?
Yeah.
Why is it that people don't talk about him in the NBA?
That's a great question.
I don't know. They just haven't seen it, but it should happen soon, though.
You know, the other thing, everybody justifiably so talks about Virginia and what they've overcome from the disappointing loss last year. But let's not forget, Michigan State. They missed 59 shots in the second round last year against Syracuse. That stung big time. So this team to come back and be as mentally tough, overcome everything they have, it's a tremendous story.
Boy, Tom Izzo is really touging these guys up. So, hey, we're going to step away from March Madness, and we're going to talk about baseball. Hey, the Tigers are 2-2. Here come the Tigers. They won today in 11 innings, and we'll talk about that next up on Press Pass here on Fox 47.
Legal grammar with Kelsey. Exculpatory evidence. Evidence such as a statement tending to excuse, justify, or absolve the alleged fault or guilt of a defendant.
Can you say definitively that William was in your store?
Absolutely. Mens rea determines the mental state of a defendant at the time a crime was committed. Differentiates between someone who did not mean to commit a crime versus someone who intentionally set out to commit a crime.
What was your state of mind, best you could tell?
Malfeasance, wrongdoing, or misconduct, especially by a public official.
I announce my candidacy for Attorney General to the great state of Illinois.
Acquittal, a jury verdict that a criminal defendant is not guilty, or the finding of a judge that the evidence is insufficient to support a conviction.
It's time for you to go home.
Download the Fox 47 News app and stay connected everywhere you go.
There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
The Student Bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Time now for Law of the Jungle, brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. I'm talking about chicken shawarma with baked breast meat and hummus made fresh in a 3-day process. That's why Jack Ebling is there every week. The Woody's items are now available in Tom's Foods, Horrocks, and other grocers.
The 1-0. Broken bat pop-up on the right side of the diamond. Harrison called off by Cabrera on the infield grass.
makes the catch. Opening day antics to an extra inning.
Strike. Next good one. 0-2, fly ball, right field, way back in right, and gone, a home run! It's again the 2-2, swinging a ground ball, check, swing to second, charging Harrison, gloves it, flips, Tigers win!
Tigers win. Hey, they were 1-0. I thought they were going to go 162-0 at that time. I really thought that. But hey, they're 2-2. They're low powering. They got great pitching, great relief, Darian, but they don't hit the ball. There's no. It's like in football. If you can't score, it's going to be hard. But they won today 4-3 and 11. Where are you at with these Tigers? I mean, not a lot of expectation, but hey, they're 2-2.
Yeah, they are 2-2, and I know Doug had one losing 100 games this year, 90, 100, or something like that. Yeah. And it probably will still happen. I mean, it probably. But you know, baseball is interesting. It's always been an intricate sport, just because I'm not sure if anybody really knows what you need necessarily to be successful, other than just a myriad of great players all over the field. Right. You know, some people come out and say you need pitching, you need a great bullpen, and that's just what seems like the Tigers have. Right. And everybody says, well, hitting doesn't matter. And then you turn around now today, it's like, well, if you don't have hitting, if you don't have, runs scored in, obviously you can't win. So it's like, do you go through the Yankees mantra, grabbing every power hitter out there and putting Stanton with Judge and all of that, and then pouring money into your pitchers later, or do you go with the Dodgers or somebody like that who puts all their money into the bullpen, the Nationals as well. So it really, I think, is all about growing your farm system, getting great prospects, and then growing your team, kind of like the Houston Astros did to be able to win the World Series. I think that's the only necessary set in stone process that'll work. And the Tigers will get there eventually. Every team does. Just probably won't be just yet. Right.
Now, Doug, I'm not going to label you as Mr. Negative, but you are negative sometimes when it comes to the Tigers. You had 100 losses.
102 this year.
102 this year. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So why 102 losses? I mean, what's your reason for
Michael
citing
Fulmer is out for the season.
That's true. That was a big loss.
And they're going to trade Nick Castellanos in July.
You think that for sure?
They have to. They need more prospects. They don't have them. It's been decimated. Dave Dombrowski decimated it with trades, trying to win a championship for Mike Ilitch. So they have to build that back up. I don't see how this team is going to be any better than they were the last 2 years, where they had 98 losses in each of those 2 seasons. Now, I've upgraded the Tigers from last year. I said they'd lose 106 games. So I got them 4 games better this year. And 67.5 in Vegas, I took the under. I mean, call me a hater, but it's just, I think that's easy money.
Yeah. Lindsay, you brought up in Detroit. I mean, you know the importance of professional sports and the importance of the Tigers. And that they got loyal fans. I mean, even when they're bad, they get 20,000, 30,000 in Comerica. I mean, where do you see this organization in the city of Detroit? How important is it, and how patient will this Tiger fan base be, as it takes a few years to get him back to a pennant?
When you talk about patience, we have the Lions too.
Yeah, it's a whole city of patience, right? Even the Pistons.
I was just in Detroit at the old Tiger Stadium on that hollow ground. PAL, the Police Athletic League, they have an organization there, so it was great to see that. But I think the city is primed for a pennant. You have all 4 teams downtown Detroit now, so there's a different energy. And now we got Miggy back, and I think after he gets past that slump he's going through and gets the groove going, and he can put the stick on the ball, that may inspire the other bats for the rest of the team. Baseball is one of the longest seasons, so it's not the time to kind of get too down right now, but it's just keeping that fan base involved and keeping them going, and hopefully we can prove Doug wrong.
Yeah. Well, Darian, I know you're from the D.C. area and the Nats and everything and the Wizards, but I mean, what Detroit team do you think is going to be the first to finally win a championship?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, right now you probably have to say the Pistons are closest, but it doesn't mean they're like right there. I mean, I think every team has got a little bit of ways to go. Yeah, they got to make the playoffs, and that's still uncertain for this year. Exactly. The Red Wings are progressing back up, obviously, and then like you said, you got the Tigers right down there as well, and then the Lions. I mean, every year it's kind of high expectations, and then it ends up getting crushed. So. As we see in the tournament this year, I mean, we had 2 teams for the first time in the Final Four. Right. Everything comes full circle. You look at the Pistons, they have an opportunity to make the playoffs this year. Everything in sports comes full circle. Eventually, Detroit will get 1 or 2. You mentioned D.C. Capitals got 1 last year. It was the first time for D.C. to get a major sports championship in decades. So the streaks break, the curses, they're lifted eventually. Just takes a little bit of time. And it's just a matter of whose lifetime is it going to be. This could be ours, our kids, grandkids, but it'll happen eventually.
Doug, in our lifetime, I'm 62. Am I going to see a Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions before I die? If I live to be 92.
2034 is what I said.
2034.
100-year anniversary of their arrival in Detroit. I hope I'm wrong. I'm kind of not being facetious with that.
No, you're not. I think you're being honest with me.
It is what it is, man. They gotta, one of these days, the blind squirrel will find
One of
it.
these days. But Tiger, hey, 2-2, man. Detroit Tigers. See how that plays out. They got the Yankees next before they finally come home. Anyway, it's time. Next up, we're taking the bank. We're gonna make some projections of what we can, what we're gonna predict for coming up, maybe like next weekend, and then our final segment will be cool and smooth. Stay with us on Press Pass here on Fox 47.
I dance to the music in my ears. I dance to the beat in my heart. I dance when no one is looking. I dance when the whole world is watching. When I dance with my feet, you can see me. But when I dance with my heart, you can feel me. So dance with your heart. We say yes to connecting our community through arts.
Cast your votes for the Top of the Town Awards at fox47news.com today.
Think about the number of people your child crosses paths with over a course of a single school day. Their bus driver, librarians, cafeteria workers, and yes, their teachers. Ordinary people going above and beyond to help children. Each week, the Michigan Lottery selects an outstanding public school educator to receive the Excellence in Education Award. Watch Fox 47 News at 6:30 on Tuesday to find out this week's winner.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
It's time now to take it to the break. Brought to you by Dart Bank. Dedicate to meet the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holt, South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded home loan center in Friendor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most.
The Big Ten's Purdue Boilermakers, the ACC's Virginia Cavaliers for the trip to the Final Four.
If you can shoot, shoot just like that, baby.
And there's Edwards for 3. Edwards again. He's got another one. Diakite. Two-handed jam. Jerome. Short. Back down. Diakite. A race for it. Into the hands of Clark. Up the front. It's Diakite. And goes for the tie. Diakite squares it at 70. The heavyweight battle in Louisville. Jerome splits it. Jerome up high off the window. He scores. Saunders goes to work on Eifert. Powers his way in. What a bucket! Carson Edwards looking at the clock. And a bad pass. And it's turned over. And that's it. Virginia advancing to the Final Four for the first time since 1984.
I'll tell you what, I've watched NCAA 2A tournament action since the mid-'60s, and I don't think I've seen a more entertaining game than that Purdue game with Virginia. I mean, that was crazy ending. Unfortunately, ended on kind of a turnover at the end of it. But, hey, our Final Four is set. We got Auburn and playing Virginia. That's going to be the opener, and then Michigan State, obviously Texas Tech in the final. So let's kind of get our projections here. What can you take to the bank Lindsey Huddleston, about the final, about these teams going down the stretch. Who's going to win next week, and who's going to cut down the nets on Monday night? A week from Monday night.
After that, you got to give it up to Michigan State. Time is on what they've done. I think they're clearly the favorite. As we said offline, they're going to be the hunted. They have the experience. They've been there. And with a coach like Izzo, he's not going to let this chance get away.
So, Darian, take off your, I know you're green and white. Let me have the heart and the love goggles and all that stuff, but you're pretty straightforward on this. But what's going to happen in those 2 games on Saturday, and then what's going to happen on Monday night?
Well, with the first game, I think it's going to be the more entertaining game of the 2. I just think that the way Virginia's been playing and the way that Auburn does play with shooting from the outside, that's going to be a high scoring affair.
That little guard, man, I want him on my team.
He can play. He's tough as nails. He takes a beating, but he packs a punch. So I just think in terms of the way those 2 teams play, I think it's going to be the most entertaining one. I'll roll with Auburn. I think Auburn will make it out. So. I think Auburn will get it. I enjoyed watching them this year in the SEC tournament. I enjoyed watching them win that. And I should have been more of a believer with them after they beat Tennessee. But I stuck with Tennessee, and then they let me down.
They lost a key player, though, and they still won.
They did, exactly. And in the late one, I'm still taking Michigan State, even with my green taking off. I think they have enough of firepower to be able to get past Texas Tech's great defense. But it's going to have to be somebody else stepping up besides Cassius Winston. He's not going to be able to go for 25 and 8 in this one. There's no way.
The lawyer's going to actually have to play.
I think so. I think it's going to have to be point guard by committee if you don't want to wear cash down for that next one.
Right. Okay, Doug Warren, you saw those Texas Tech Red Raiders. I mean, they chop you up good. And I mean, any chance of Texas Tech cutting down the nets?
Well, I think there is, because they have the guard play and they have the scoring. I mean, they're a complete basketball team, and they went deep in the tournament last year. But Michigan State, I think the key to the game this coming weekend is Nick Ward. If he can go off like he's capable of doing, and he hasn't done it in a while, give him another week for that hand to get healed up. And he had his moments today against Duke. But I think Michigan State, the defense will be there. And you're right, Darian, they need to have somebody step up and take some of the offensive load off of Cassius. Nick Ward is capable of doing that. If they're able to do that and survive Texas Tech, the question will be, will it be like 1999 when Duke and Michigan State had that war in the Final Four? Will they have enough gas in the tank to beat the team in the final on Monday night?
That. Because I think that Texas Tech will kind of physically drain Michigan State, or any team.
Vice versa,
Ask Michigan. They were drained about 10 minutes into that game. So anyway, cool and smooth. Coming up next, we'll have our Team of the Week and Player of the Week and all that stuff. Coming up next here on Press Pass on Fox 47.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's motor coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
It's the Graf Saving of the Green Sale, the time of year to save a pot of gold. Release the leprechauns.
The savings at Graf are crazy. Yeah! Graf's minimum trade is back. Get more gold for your trade.
Get a 2019 Silverado Double Cab 4-wheel drive, just $242 a month. Or drive a new Chevrolet Trax for only $96 a month.
It's the Graf Saving of the Green Sale going on now at a Graf dealership near you. You'll save so much money, you'll feel like dancing like a leprechaun too.
The Ticket Machine is your local connection to concert, theater, and sporting event tickets nationwide. Our entertainment experts are ready to help you create a memorable experience, trusted by fans for more than 20 years. Whether you're looking for tickets for your corporate outing, family excursion, or vacation, we offer the best seats and the best prices. Grab a front row seat now on theticketmachine.com.
Big Bang and Simpsons are now back-to-back weeknights at 11 on Fox 47. Fox 47 invites you to join the club, the Yes Club. Be the first to know about all of our great giveaways. Join the Yes Club, and you're on your way to winning the hottest tickets and other great offers. Sign up once and never miss out on another contest again. Just go to fox47news.com, click the Yes Club icon. Plus, you can increase your chances of winning each contest by sharing on social media. Join the Yes Club and be a winner today.
Time now for Cool and Smooth, brought to you by all 5 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan since 1984. Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious Butterburgers and premium frozen custard. That's Culver's. Welcome to delicious. And there you see the lineup for next Saturday, which I call the greatest day in all of sports, the Final Four. So it's going to be Virginia and Auburn. Auburn, a football school, followed by Michigan State, Texas Tech. Winners advance to Monday night about 9:20 for the opportunity to sing One Shining Moment. Okay, it's time for our weekly awards. Let's start out with you, Lindsey Huddleston. Let's start out with you as the play of the week.
I think the play of the week happened today in the Auburn game when Chumo Okeke was wheeled out.
Oh, great emotional
put behind
moment
the
there.
bench. And I talked about that earlier. It's either experience or emotions, and that was an example of it. That would be my play of the week.
I'll tell you what, that was a graphic injury, and for him to come back out, and I think he's going to have ACL surgery.
Yeah,
so
that's
not
the ACL.
a good thing. I feel bad for that kid, but he was happy. Okay, the game of the week, Darian. I probably got to handle what's going on here, right?
No. I mean, obviously today, and for personal reasons, you would go with Michigan State and their huge win over Duke, but that Virginia, Purdue. Purdue-Virginia game, was phenomenal. I mean, coming down the stretch, Carson Edwards, 42 points, what he was able to do, putting the team on his back. It was the best game probably of the tournament. So you got to give it all, hats off to them. And Virginia to be able to prevail. Again, as we talked about last year, going out to a 16 seed to this year coming back in the Final Four, that's going to be a tremendous story, no matter what they do next weekend.
That close, I have it 2 Big Ten teams as it played out in the Final Four.
Absolutely.
My word. But they got Michigan State representing. Okay, it's time now for our team of the week, Doug Ward.
It's got to be Michigan State. For them to come back from what happened last year, 2 lottery picks go to the NBA. They lose in the second round to Syracuse in heartbreaking fashion. They overcome all the adversity. Josh Langford gone for the entire year. One of the best players in Michigan State history, having just a career year in Cassius Winston. For them to get all the way over all that adversity and do what they did today against their arch nemesis, the team that they just can't seem to beat, the Duke Blue Devils. They're the team of the week and one of the great teams of all time thus far in Michigan State hoops history, I think, even regardless of what happens next weekend.
Well, I'm going to go back for our player of the week to the game that Darian talked about, Purdue and Virginia, a guy I've been dogging all year. Because I got to call him a selfish player, but Carson Edwards, man, you were a dude last night with the 42 points. In fact, he averaged, I think, 25 points, 4 straight tournament games. Only as Steph Curry has done that with Davidson, and he just made shots. That one bank shot was crazy.
Right.
I got hats off to him. I felt bad for that team. You just saw the devastation. You saw the emotion. I mean, how do the parents, Lindsey, how do they handle that? I mean, you just see the anguish on their faces. They don't have any control. The players out there are using the exertion.
You want to help your kids. You want to be there for your kid, but all the thing you can do is just support them and say it's going to be okay.
Yeah, well, there's so much magnitude in this event. March Madness in the Final Four, and there's only one team that survives, Darian. I mean, I guess you know that going in, right?
Yeah, you do. I've played in the Final Four before, and obviously you're excited to get there. But then when it's over and you don't make it all the way to the end, you get disappointment all over again. So, again, I think you hit the nail on the head. It starts with 65. Really, if you think about it, and then 68, you got to play in, and gets down to 65 and 64, and the tournament starts. And there's only one, like you said, that can sing one shining moment at the end. So that's just what it is in all sports. But that's what makes the tournament great. And when you get to watch the one shining moment, video montage at the end of all the fantastic moments of the entire tournament, I think this one might come down to one of the best of all time.
Oh, I think so too. And I'm going to go on record. I think Michigan State is going to be your national champion. So I'm bracing for that, but hats off. What a huge win for the Spartans. I want to thank Lindsey Huddleston, Sports Psychology Solutions, for being on. Darian Harris, my colleague Doug Warren. I want everybody to have a great week. Get excited. Michigan Spartan fans, embrace it. It's really, really hard to get to the Final Four. But since 2015, that's 4 years. That's a long time for Tom Izzo. Matt McQuaid finally made it to the Final Four. Thank you so much, and have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you next week on Press Pass here on Fox 47.